Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Matthew Binder to the podium, your newest Distinguished Eagle Scout.
There are some people who couldn't be here today, and they asked me to film my comments for them. And it is an emotional moment for me, and so forgive me, I like to usually talk off the top of my head, but I have some notes here because I find they help me focus. I want to start by thanking the DESA for considering me for this honor, and thank you to the Scout Executive, Matt Adams, for organizing this today, and to our distinguished Eagle Scout guests for being here. And also thank you, Scoutmaster Pfeiffer. I haven't had a chance to talk with you for so long. I think it was weird that, great, you were there for that pivotal Jamboree storm that we had. That kind of started me off on this path. Susan, the honor of having you up here being recognized with me is a tiny bit of recognition for all you've done. The kindness and patience you've shown me and just letting me be me has cascaded to all these areas of my life. So I hope you are wearing that pin and pride today because it's our award. And when Scouts attain the rank of Eagle, they do so knowing it wasn't on an island. The same's true here. So I love you. I'm glad you're my partner. And for your support. And also, I can't forget the help of your mother, Darlene, and also your father. And I just want to say he's with us today. Jay Rutan, the work you put into my nomination and what you've done to lead today means a lot. My reaction might have caught you off guard when you called me on the phone, but I struggled to find why I was deserving of this honor, especially because I didn't do it on my own. And I hope by the end you realize the importance of today and the importance of the people in this room. Over the past several weeks, I've used a bit of my journalism training to have an opportunity to reflect on the who, what, when, where, why, and how of today. I also fell back on my teacher training because I believe in teachable moments. And I have some students here, and some students will be watching this, and I want them to notice that I'm practicing what I preach. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you what I just told you. I have lots of one-liners like that I use in class, and one of them is that there will be times when a huge day will come unexpectedly, and you might not know that it happened for years down the road. And there are other ones you see coming from miles away. Since I found out about this recognition, I consider the next few minutes as some of the most important opportunities I've been given, because today I want to reflect on the teamwork I've been a part of over the years. Now, my classes know a presentation is catered to a specific audience, and while there are a number of you here today, these comments are for an audience of just two, Sarah and Adam, my children. My hope is the rest of you can confirm what I want to share with them today. So kids, there's three things that this audience, I hope, helps you understand a little better after today. First, teamwork is important. And one of your most important jobs in life will be to find some good teams. One of the many weird student conversations I've had, we were sharing what our spirit animals would be. And I think for me it's a sled dog. Because when people sometimes comment on why I do all the things I do and how I don't sleep, I feel my brain is a pack of sled dogs. Sled dogs don't like to lay around. When they do, they tend to yelp and snap at one another. Right? Sled dogs, they're not the best pets. They need a direction and a place to go, and they need to run. I enjoy running with a pack. So if you give me a goal and an idea of a path on how to get there, it's not just fun for me, I need it. And while it's possible for a single sled dog to pull a burden by itself, they can go a lot faster and farther working together. That's why I love music and band and orchestra so much, and why I felt the most at home growing up in that environment. A good band is a good team. They listen to one another, they know when to take the lead and when to step back, and a good leader in front is not responsible for making you better. They're there to wave their arms around and provide you with the confidence that you're hitting the right beats and you're in the right place. And they give you a little feedback that you're doing the right thing. They also have a score in the advantage of seeing or hearing the big picture. By connecting with the right section or player in the right moment, they can assist the group in achieving their common goal, a good performance. What's funny is some audiences, most audiences, especially inexperienced ones, can't tell the difference between a good or a bad performance. But if you're the one performing, I guarantee you'll know. And also as an individual in a band, you can make mistakes. And overall, others will cover for you. But if you develop a bad habit, like not bringing a pencil to mark that mistake, or not practicing a part the others are depending on, that detracts from that goal, and you're going to have a harder time with the group. I grew up watching Mr. Rogers, and he taught me something 20 years before Google realized it in the late 90s, when they were researching what characterizes the best teams. Good teams make you feel safe to share and contribute. So I do. I test a little bit to see if a group lets me speak up and propose solutions to problems. This is easy to do if you let go of worrying what people think about you. And you've heard me say that. Life's a lot easier when you can let that go. The harder step is making your teammates feel accepted and that you're not judging them. You want to make them feel safe. A piccolo and a tuba look and sound completely different. It's not even the same musical language. But a good team, and on a good team, they need each other and blend together. There's no stars and stripes forever without a tuba and a piccolo. I love being on a team, and I love and thrive in environments where I'm a great team. And that what's just as important as finding a good team is my second point. You need to recognize and celebrate who's helped that team. I'm uncomfortable right now, but my students in the audience, I hope you can tell us how I feel about uncomfortable.
Oh, uncomfortable is good.
Unsafe
is bad.
That's right. I don't feel unsafe. Adam and Sarah, I want you to see and eventually meet all these great people whose teams I've been on and understand how we worked together to accomplish some great things, because in my mind, that's what we're celebrating today. This doesn't happen without the people in this room and those listening. And I need to tell you about them and thank them. Dean Corradino and Dr. Kelly Matthews at Hack are two of the best conductors I've ever played for. And that's no disrespect to any of my other bosses listening. But a common thread upon anyone I meet at Hack Lancaster is how great an administrator the dean is. His goals are to enhance the lives of a wide variety of students of different backgrounds coming to the community college, some of whom need a second chance in life. And he provides us with all the means and tools to do so. It's the same with Dr. Matthews and the rest of the science nerds in our department, like Ernie, Ron, and Stock. When I came on board, they went out of their way to help me and made me feel a part of the group, even though I was only there 6 hours a week for 12 weeks. They're instrumental in that attempt for the space station downlink and provided the materials and helped me produce the science videos we eventually used to reach the students at home during the pandemic in an effort to keep them safe. Adam, you remember playing with the liquid nitrogen when we recorded some of those. My team at Hack makes me better as a teacher, also for my current high school students, because they help me understand what they're going to expect out of them in the future. And speaking of great conductors, there's Joe Calhoun. It means a lot you hear Joe. You've seen him on TV more than me. Joe, it's hard to believe we've worked together almost 24 years. Kids, it's rare for an everyday person to be at a television station for that long, let alone a substitute, but he's never made me feel like one. He's always made it clear I've been a part of their team. We've loved weather and science our whole lives, and it means a lot that he's given me a way to share that passion with the public. Did I ever tell you when he called to talk to me for the first time about the job at WGAL, I was 90 minutes from a meeting with my principal, where I was going to resign and move back to Allentown to take a job at my own high school that I have. So you can thank him for that. Joe, in retrospect, that was one of those big days I didn't realize till years later. You supported my style and crazy graphics and ideas, and even allowed me to double dip and return home to Dan Skeldon, WFMZ. So thank you for everything. And for Dan, thanks for allowing me to be part of your team as well and working with Joe so we don't step on each other's toes. Kids, that's also unheard of in media. It's so cool to have a chance to work in a place I used to watch when I was your age and dream of being on television. And it's been great to reconnect with my home once again. I can attest that both Joe and Dan and the weather teams at both places take pride in making weather decisions based on safety and not ratings, which is unusual in one place, let alone two. Being on television is fun, but it's one-way sharing. And with my sled dog mind, I realized early that teaching was more interactive than my calling. Just before COVID, I met a wonderful group of teachers in our stage whose mission is to promote public education and be a voice in issues and challenges they're facing. In joining them, I found a committee in recognizing individual teachers with my partner in crime on the awards committee, Amanda Connell. By bouncing ideas off her, I think we're making positive changes to recognize a more diverse group of people in Pennsylvania. But someone else at NSTOY you should meet is Colleen Rainier. She was the first person I met in the organization because she insisted on having lunch with me before our first meeting. And though she's just one member of this amazing group, I think we should all admire Colleen for what she's currently doing in her retirement. There's a problem right now that there are not enough teachers for all the students, so she's doing something about it. She's the head of our Teach Committee, which pairs master teachers with college students in an attempt to get them excited to enter the classroom. Not only that, her committee organizes biannual conferences at teacher colleges across the state, which have been well organized and well received. They've been so well received, in fact, the national organization is looking and learning more about the program. That's one person making a large difference who should be celebrated. My teaching began at Centerville Middle School. Bill Kakovic was my first principal, and he made me feel safe. Adam, it's really odd that you're on my first team of teachers, the Minutemen, right now, because it's there I made the most mistakes, and I learned how to work in school. The other earth science teacher we play Santa for him, Mr. Martin, right, with Mrs. Minnick. He was an awesome teammate. They, with the staff, gave me the confidence to try some different things and think outside the box. Just one example, they volunteered to dress up in costume and assist me with the recreation of the trial of Galileo. So, Dave, don't worry, I didn't put those pictures up there. The school is a supportive environment, and we started the middle school television studio, and we resurrected the chess club, and after a few years they supported me in helping out with the Friendship Chess League. That chess league, which you were part of, Adam, this past year, has done a great job bringing together students at schools that usually aren't involved in other activities, and brings together schools that don't always meet each other. While scheduling and spreadsheets to organize the matches are in my wheelhouse, there's some PA Dutch Scout leaders that help to make it all possible as well. Mr. Eric Anderson has been helping since I started, and Mr. Ned Bushong has been critical. Just this year, Ned had a solution to a financial problem that we were facing that could have caused some major difficulties for the 60-year-old league. Ned in particular was helpful during the pandemic, where we kept playing online, in the online environment. Finding ways to lean on each other to solve problems, that's the sign of a good team. When I was at Centerville, they supported my work with NASA. NASA connected me with Dr. Paul Newman and his atmospheric group at Goddard. Dr. Newman saw my strength in converting the science speak to kid-teacher speak, and he put me right away on a project to review and write and edit lessons about the ozone hole. Sarah, you just learned about this in school, and you used some of the material we worked on. I was only an intern, but he treated me like one of the scientists, and he gave me a lot of confidence at a staff meeting by nicknaming me Fireball. Those 2 summers made me a better science teacher and communicator as well, and paved the way for a final interview at NASA for their educator-astronaut position. That week in Houston was so eye-opening, because there's a group of fighter pilots and scientists and teachers vying for just a couple seats on the space shuttle to go to space. It was a lifetime dream for all of us. Yet we still cheered each other on, and we celebrated those who were selected. That was an environment that was fantastic, and I've worked to bring that back into other areas of my life. The NASA administration was also aware of the fact that one of my students made me promise them, for her nomination, that I would have to film the entire process from start to end, knowing that I would be the first person to do so. So when Dottie and Ricky and Joe were selected, it was clear my place was on the ground, trying to bring attention to what they were doing. Those videos turned into a presentation that, again, Hempfield supported, as I took it to teachers all across the country. Little did I know that I was laying the experience for what I was about to teach at Hempfield and Comtech. So I tried to show you the importance of teams, and we celebrated some of those teams. But my third belief is to never underestimate the importance of scouting. As a young scout, it was the first place I taught an activity. It's the first place I planned a meeting, and it got more complex until all of a sudden I was guiding Cubs at Camp Trexler. It's also where I traveled internationally for the first time and understood the importance and powers of different cultures. Scouts is also the first place I understood that uncomfortable is good, because that's where growth and learning happens. A 5-degree campout is uncomfortable. A 50-mile hike with a pack is uncomfortable. When you don't eat the spaghetti your patrol leader made because you saw them stirring it with plastic spoons that melted into it, that was uncomfortable, though I guarantee they were more uncomfortable later that night. Scouts is where I learned the difference in communicating between peers, leaders, and adults. For those of you unfamiliar who are here today, scouting is a place where youth are put in charge. And Scouts are broken into patrols, and there's a leadership hierarchy. As you advance in Scouts, you take what you learn to guide younger Scouts behind you. There's a pledge you make, a set of 12 guiding principles to help you meet the goals of Scouting. The goals start simple enough: do your best. And then as you get older, you introduce more and more into the concept of helping others. They say to do a good turn daily and teach you a central point in leadership and teamwork to be ready for what could come. Be prepared. I'm so glad that both of you are in Scouting and where you are. Adam Scoutmaster Way is a great leader. He's concerned with keeping the program youth-centered in the development of Scouts. Listen to his minutes as they're good lessons on how to implement the Scouting way, and he's joined by a great group of adult volunteers. Sarah, PAC 142 is a special place. One of the most fun jobs I had was being Cub Master there. Speaking of being on good teams, Melanie Shields is their fireball. She knew how to use me, and as I've said in PAC meetings, the leaders and parents that step up help make that a special place. And when I came to 142, when the first person I met after Melanie was Dave Reist, whose service to others is also commendable. He knew how to connect with boys and his parent volunteers, and he made Cubs fun for both groups. I still enjoy working the Pinewood Derby with Mr. Reist, and honestly was thrilled that we were sworn in together at 142. So Sarah, after spending the weekend with your new leaders and scouts, I'm also looking forward to our time at 142G. So when I had an opportunity to build on an already solid communications program at Hempfield, I brought in the lessons I learned from Scouting. First and foremost, our ComTech program is student-driven and student-centered. Our mixed class period serves as our troop, and our patrols are the individual classes. As students get older, they're put in positions to teach the younger students what they've learned. Instead of merit badges where you can focus on a skill or trade, we have cores. Like merit badges, within each core, we have required elective and required activities. We have a slogan, an oath of ethics, and if you count in the lab, there are 12 posters hanging on the wall, which are our laws, like action, reaction, where's Waldo, some puppies must die. We Scoutmasters conferences or journals, and you implement Scouting's EDGE method through those journals and critique meetings. Our leaders even have our own round tables. Before COVID, Chris Schwalm, a teacher at Cedar Crest High School, was a partner in forming Parkov, a cooperative for local ComTech teachers who are often by themselves in their school districts, as a way to connect. And it's something we've worked to carry on after we moved with the great team at Elizabethtown College. We even have jamborees and meet others like us at our video contests. So to the students who are here and the alumni who are watching, I hope it's not a secret when I say how impressed I am with you. I try to tell you that all the time, and the reason why Hempfield is on the national and international stage is from your buy-in of the methods and the pride of what you've built. The reason why I'm up here today is from your hard work and dedication to better yourselves with the help of your friends and your ComTech family. McGuire, the easiest decision I had to make in the last several weeks was asking them to consider you as a presenter. There's more I'm going to say to you before graduation, but I respect your work ethic in both class and in Scouting, and how you're never shameful of that Eagle Scout badge that you have. I think you might share my sled dog mentality too. So I look forward to one day where I can be part of your distinguished Eagle Scout ceremony. Finally, none of this happens without the leadership at Hempfield, not just for the support I've had to help pursue all the people I've told you about so far, but they lean into my strengths in the program we've built, specifically the equipment, the cameras. That's not my specialty, but Mike Greer makes sure we have a cost-effective way for students to stay current and successful. He gives time in our lab after school so students can work. He's also willing to let me vent and provide a new perspective when I reflect on the curriculum. Katie Deemer and Clint Woolman run the middle school media programs, and the skill they have in identifying students with talents in media is invaluable service to those students. And Jesse Long guided me through learning community relations and helped the students work with donors to keep the program going through a critical required upgrade. Cheryl Orwin Bass and Brooke Fisher are awesome partners in Hempfield happenings, as is really everyone else on Team Hempfield who played a part in the success of our students. The staff at Hempfield has allowed them into their classrooms to film. They've watched our student productions every day and are even tolerant and understanding when my students make a few mistakes here or there. I'm extremely thankful for my colleagues, and it's important to remind them of that at the start of each school year. And our principal, Dr. Brossman, who's a Cub Master himself, has been not so secretly implementing the Scouting model at Hempfield. I appreciate and respect him for refocusing us and giving us the confidence and safety in our building of getting us back on the beat as we move forward together. The Eagle Pin is one of my earliest memories when my brother David showed me his in his room, and it left an impression because there was something there, which I later understood was pride. And when I was a little older, that was reinforced by an old man in a black coat saluting a flag, and hanging on his jacket was an Eagle Pin. And Grandpa took notice and said, "Do you see what that pin means to him?" That was really powerful. And at my astronaut interview, which was the most challenging and important interview I've ever had in my life, the first question they asked me was, "Why do you want to be an astronaut?" But the second one was, what does being an Eagle Scout mean to you? When mentioning teams before, I didn't forget about Grammy and Grandpa. My family was a great team, as they had different personalities, skills, and strengths. They knew when to argue and when to yield and trust each other. One thing that's never wavered is their enthusiasm and support of me, and both of you. I don't recall them ever telling me I couldn't do or try something. They both were involved in scouting, but anyone here from Mincy Trails knows my father and the types of silent lessons he's passed on to me. He's the gold standard for volunteerism, character, and quite simply, he's the perfect role model to one of those core elements in camping, to leave a place better than you found it. Because that's what this is all about. Isn't that it? Making the world a better place? Kids, I see a desire in you to do that. But you can't do it yourself. It needs teamwork, and everyone in this room is making the world a better place in their own way. They enhance the lives of others and help those who need it, and all of them, every one of them, when they see a problem that needs to be solved, they step up to do so. Remember Daniel Tiger and Mr. Rogers? He learned from his mother that when he would see scary things, to look for the helpers. You'll always find people helping. So in conclusion, I hope you see what being a helper and finding a great team of helpers can do. I hope you see why it's important to recognize and celebrate your team's accomplishments, and why I believe scouting is key to learning how to do both of those. And with that, there's one final group I have to thank, and that's my favorite team of all, the both of you in our family. I love seeing all the great things you've accomplished so far, and I love cheering you on. When you came into my life, do you understand how much you helped me? You filled holes in my heart I didn't know I had, and you helped me realize and finally truly understand and relate to the parents of whom I teach. Other moms and dads are trusting me to help their children to do the best they can and to be prepared for graduation. I've taken that job seriously, and I worked so hard at that because I would want your teams to do the same for you. So you're a huge reason why this is happening today. I love you, thank you, and go Team Bender. To everyone here, I know I had a lot to say, so I do appreciate your time. I hope you understand how much I admire having you all in my life. Thank you for today, and thank you for letting me be on your team.